April showers may bring May flowers, but we have Joe Biden, and this May, he's bringing even more illegal immigrants across the border, unlike Trump, who put in a stop measure. Let me explain. If the saying holds up, April showers will bring our May flowers, but if Joe Biden opens his mouth and says it so, then we'll get nothing but rot, because we are living in a perpetual rainy day, and every time Joe opens his mouth, a flood of stupid pours out.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Barack Obama's vice president, and I'm Jill Biden's husband. By the way, the only reason Jill's not here today, she's working. She's teaching. And so I just want you to know that's why she's not here.
I get it. That's a joke that the Bro-Obamas have been doing for 14 years now. It's not funny, but, whatever. I'm more concerned with these optics. Poor, sad, confused old Joe. He doesn't know where he is or what's happening, and everyone is paying attention to the President of the United States. Not him, because we know who's running the show, and it ain't Joe. He's just providing recitation of what the huddled mass tells him. Exhibit A.
We are at an inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people died, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So anyway, I'm going to hush up.
Please do hush up, especially about that new world order. But New World Order is not what Joe meant, according to USA Today and the fact checkers of all fact checkers. In usual fashion, the cleanup crew had to come in to massage the words like Joe tries to massage anything that moves. Now, since that comment a few weeks ago, it's just been pouring rain on pretty much everyone. Which brings us to today's question. What has been the biggest downpour of the past few weeks? There are many choices, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you could share this video, then the sunshine may actually make an appearance. For my 2 cents, it's the Biden administration's repeal of Title 42, which President Trump put in place during the pandemic, making it so migrants would not be allowed in the country due to public health policy.
So Title 42, Hallie, was put in place by the Trump administration and had long thought to be lifted early on in the Biden administration, that this wasn't necessary to stop the spread of COVID, to keep immigrants from coming across the southern border. It's been in court battles for a long time now, and now we are understanding that the CDC has said that they believe Title 42, which is their authority to implement, can lift at the end of May. That means families coming across the border with young children. It means even single adults can cross the southern border and claim asylum. It means a return to the status quo of our asylum system that existed pre-COVID.
Since implementation, Border Patrol has used the policy 1.7 million times because, as we know, Biden continues to say, come one, come all. He encourages everyone and their drug dealer to come on in across the southern border. But hey, you Americans, still keep your kids masked up for the safety of the nation. Even the Department of Homeland Security said it is not prepared to handle the guaranteed migrant surge and acknowledges the catastrophe that will ensue from the estimated 18,000 per day number of migrants crossing the border. Let's do some simple math. 18,000 daily times 7 days is 126,000 per week. And then times that by 4 puts you at about 504,000 per month. So just 500,000 migrants coming in every month. Let's put it another way. Only about 3.5 million or more migrants by the midterm election. Can you wait for those votes to roll in? Because I know I can't.
But wait, there's more.
According to the congressional delegation from Texas, in a letter to both the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Health and Human Services, a warning was issued stating that about 25,000 migrants are currently on the Mexican side of the border, and they are just waiting for the day Title 42 is ended. And since that is about to happen, they estimate 170,000 migrants could materialize. Poof! Pulled from the sky, out of thin air. And everyone is giving the runaround about why Title 42 should end and how it's the Centers for Disease Control making the call and how it's not about immigration policy. And basically, don't blame me, they did it.
Title 42, as it is known, is a public health authority. It is not an immigration policy. And as a public health authority, it is exercised by the CDC depending upon the arc of the pandemic. And the CDC, in its expertise, we are not public health experts, in its public health expertise, decided that the use of Title 42 should come to an end when we, in the Department of Homeland Security, have ramped up our public health protocols sufficient to address migration at the southern border.
Oh, sure. Across the entire nation, not just the southern border, we continue to be peed on and told it's raining. Gas prices continue to rise, and you should be prepared to have it just continue being so.
Even if all of the oil we use in the USA were made in the USA, the price of it is still subject to powers and dynamics outside of the USA, which means that until we achieve a form of energy independence that is based on clean energy created here at home, American citizens will still be vulnerable to wild price hikes like we're seeing right now.
Thanks, Petey. Please go back on paternity leave and take your boss with you because he also lives not in reality.
I know how much it hurts. As you've heard me say before, I grew up in a family like many of you, where the price of a gallon of gasoline went up, it was discussions at the kitchen table. Our family budgets, your family budgets, to fill a tank, none of it should hinge on whether a dictator declares war.
Instead, it hinges on you, the President of the United States, passing the buck and still refusing to drill a home because the truth is you want to massage the leftists with the so-called clean energy. That, by the way, takes diesel to operate. Biden has gotten desperate enough to say they want more oil from Canada, but that they still oppose Keystone XL and think shipping by rail could be an option. But
Ultimately, we and the whole world need to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels altogether. We need to choose long-term security over energy and climate vulnerability. We need to double down on our commitment to clean energy and tackling the climate crisis with our partners and allies around the world. Under my plan, which is before the Congress now, we can take advantage of the next generation of electric vehicles that a typical driver will save about $80 a month from not having to pay gas at the pump. If your home is powered by safer, cheaper, cleaner electricity like solar or heat pumps, you can save about $500 a month on average. Don't take my word for it.
I won't take your word for it. Fact check, false. The White House had to walk back Biden's statement about the $500 savings being per month. Really, it's just $500 in a year. And sure, you'll save $80 per month in gas, but you'll spend the next 20 years trying to pay off the $64,000 cost of the electric vehicle, according to Kelley Blue Book's latest prices. I guess if you sell off your house and you live in your car, then hey, you'll be all set. I guess it shows that we really do need to go back to the good old days, you know, when Jill Biden was vice president.
And I'm deeply proud of the work she's doing as First Lady with Joining Forces initiative she started with Michelle Obama when she was vice president and now carries on.
Fact check, false. Again, Biden just gaffes. He can't remember himself as vice president for 8 years and he doesn't know who is vice president now. Which brings us to... Where in the world is Kamala Lama Ding Dong? Kamala has been quiet for a tad bit there, so naturally she has to pop up in another country just to embarrass pretty much everyone everywhere. In Jamaica, they speak English, and yet no one could understand what was being said in the word salad, Harris said at a press conference with Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
We also recognize just As it has been in the United States for Jamaica, one of the issues that has been presented as an issue that is economic in the way of its impact has been the pandemic. So to that end, we are announcing today also that we will assist Jamaica in COVID recovery by assisting in terms of the recovery efforts in Jamaica that have been essential to, I believe, what is necessary to strengthen not only the issue of public health, but also the economy.
I have no idea what she just said. Can anyone please interpret Kamalama Ding Dong? And is it any wonder then that yet another of Harris's staffers has just quit? This time, the Hunger Games victim is Deputy Chief of Staff Michael Fuchs. He is the one who had accompanied her on foreign trips, and we see how well that has really gone. And you may have heard that the circleback girl is circling the drain. A leak was reported that White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki has plans to leave 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue for a seat on MSNBC. But when asked about it, Psaki did what she always does. Spin, spin, spin.
Well, you can't get rid of me yet, Ed. I have nothing to confirm about my length of public service or planned service or anything about consideration about next plans. I'm very happy to be standing with all of you here today after it felt like a never-ending, endless time in my basement, quarantining away from my family. Believe it or not, I missed you all a lot. And my focus every day continues to be speaking on behalf of the president, answering your questions, as tough as they may be at many times, as difficult as they may be to answer at many times. And I hope that I meet my own bar of treating everybody with fairness and being equitable.
Sure you have.
Well, I have always gone over and above the stringent ethical and legal requirements of the Biden administration, and I take that very seriously.
I'll have more to say about that one when it happens. And I'll have a whole lot more to say if the results from a new Harvard Caps Harris poll come to fruition. Apparently, among those voting for Democrats, if Biden's not on the ticket in 2024, the next highest candidates are Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, and then Bernie Sanders. Wowza. If the next presidential election has Harris or Clinton on the ticket for the Democrats, then the storms are coming on the Democrat Party. They have no one who is a viable candidate, which makes sense because their current representative is barely sentient. We still have time before the next presidential election, but based on the rain clouds still encircling all of us, now is the time to remind ourselves that eventually there will be better weather ahead. And now is the time to remind ourselves of what really matters: faith, family, and friends. So make sure to share the good word and this video with all of them. Until next time, stay healthy, America.